Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Culture Wave Media, and today we're talking about Invincible Season 4, Episode 5. We are on a roll with this season so far, other than one tad disappointment last week, which we might get to at the end of this episode. Fellas, it's Episode 5, the grand Episode 5. I'm Sean Villa. I am joined today by Mark Jacobino.
What's up, Sean? Hey, Vinny.
And Vinny Albano.
Hello, hello.
Guys,
This is wild.
I like this episode.
Pretty good.
I like it.
I really like this episode, actually.
Vinny, what do you like about this episode? Let's just go broad thoughts. Go around the table.
Yeah, so I'll jump into it. First things first. I might be an outlier here, but I actually didn't like the start of this season. These first 4 episodes, aside from episode 2, but episodes 1, 3, and 4, I didn't enjoy. This episode, though, was a banger. I mean, it has one of the most epic fight scenes that we've seen in the show, and it rekindles a lot of tropes that Invincible has established. So if I did have to pick out some flaws, that would definitely be it, where, Invincible seems to just kind of keep repeating a similar story beats, but in different settings. However, the brutality of the fight scene with Mark and Conquest and the new characters that are introduced, and finally seeing this war that has been foreshadowed since season 1 finally coming into fruition is very satisfying, very epic. The animation was also really cool, and it's just overall very brutal, which I'm a fan of.
Yeah, Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this episode was definitely the highlight of the season so far. We have that great moment between Omni-Man and Debbie, that conversation we've been waiting to see since they left each other, and he essentially called her a pet.
Yeah.
That was such an amazing, not even just voice acting performance, but the editing there, the choice of shots was so good, and it was so effective, and it lived up to that moment. And then, yeah, we get to this ending, which I was not expecting. I kind of thought that this episode was kind of just going to ride into next week, and then we would have a fight next week or something. But no, they drop us in here, and this showdown with Conquest, my stomach turned. Like, this was excruciating, seeing Mark literally get ripped apart from the inside out.
Yeah.
And I mean, this season, I kind of agree with Vinny. I've enjoyed it, but I definitely wasn't as high on it as you guys were. But I did appreciate your conversation last week. I think it did bring up a lot of good points for the start of the season. But this episode was the one that really locked me back in.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously this is the one with, like, the big battle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, which is surprising because we're very early in the season. I mean, I guess technically we're on the latter half as of this week, as of today. But yeah, hell of a way to start the second half of this season.
Mm-hmm.
I've been pretty positive about the season in general so far. I think the beginning of season 3 was a lot weaker than the beginning of this season, personally.
Yeah.
Aside from last week's episode 4, I was not a fan of. But those opening 3, I really like what's going on with Mark. And I think that this episode was some good payoff for this, like, sadistic, more violent Mark that we've been growing to, or getting more accustomed to as time's been on. So, yeah, this is one of the first times that I've been watching something animated where I feel like I have felt genuine disgust at how hyper violent it's gotten. And this show is very violent, but it's violent in a cool way usually. It's violent in a John Wick kind of way, where it's like, oh, he just blew like a blood bubble, or he bitch slapped Oliver, like that was so sick. They fist bumped through a guy's head last season.
Yeah.
So there's like cool shit like this. This one is it's not awesome at all. It's almost, as you said, hard to stomach, which is kind of fun. It's just really, really nasty, and the lack of music kind of just...
You hear it. Like, you hear the gore and the struggle between these two characters, and it's just... And they leave it there. You're there for like a full minute of seeing this back and forth brutality, and in that moment, you're thinking about, Adam Eve and this unborn child that she still hasn't told Mark about, but he's doing this in like a far off planet, and he has a kid back home. And I know you guys weren't a big fan of that reveal, and I kind of agree. I'm curious where it goes, the whole child situation. But in that moment, that's like the first thing I thought of is like, oh my God, he
Yeah.
has this kid, and Adam Eve doesn't even know what he's going through right now.
Yeah, I think you kind of segue us perfectly into talking a little bit about the first half of this episode, just a tad bit more.
Yeah.
Because obviously, I know that everyone clicking on this video, us talking about it, the big talking point of the episode is the last 15, 20 minutes, right? It's gut-wrenching, and it's crazy. I feel like they really kick up the animation for it. Just a really, really like impactful, almost unforgettable sequence. But I do think that the first half of this 1 hour episode does a lot of great stuff that kind of had the episode elevated on its own, even if we kind of got what I thought was going to be a teaser at the end, right? Like kind of like you said, of leading us into something. All the Earth stuff here I think is great. I think this has been, a long time coming of getting the main cast back together. Plus, this new character of Tech Jacket, who I think is also pretty endearing so far. So I really, really like what happened with the Earth stuff. Vinny, what do you think about the cast kind of coming back together?
I love it. I really do. So I do have a critique though, but okay, here's the thing. I'll just get into it.
Yeah.
I'm really liking Tech Jacket. I know the character I believe has been gender swapped, but I didn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't read the comics. I don't know how different the character is, but the character here, I really love her, and I see she's very charming. You know what I mean? Like this young kid. It's not typically what we've seen in Invincible, where it's like, no, you're a child, you can't. No, it's like it's not like an Oliver situation. Her dad's like, oh yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Get her in there, right? Which is cool. I also appreciate, like Mark said, the scene with Debbie on Earth was incredible, and I am enjoying this like underwhelming tension, like you guys said, with Adam Eve, with the whole pregnancy. I also enjoyed the scene with Mark Hamill's character. Art. Yeah, thank you, and Nolan, Omni-Man. So I was going into that scene with a critique mindset. I was actually not liking that scene because I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm saying to myself, why is everyone just still trusting this dude? Like even Debbie to an extent, but I could also understand Debbie because she was more, she lived with this man for 20 years. But in the back of my head, I kept thinking to myself, the last time you saw this dude, he went on a mass genocidal spree and was revealed to be a true villain, destroyed Chicago. Why the hell are you even letting him 5 feet in your proximity? And then when he flies away and you see Art break, I was like, oh, okay, I love that. I love that. Because before I was like, this makes no sense. This is like, I hate this right now. Yeah. And then he breaks and you see that he's terrified. He's out of breath and he was just putting on an act. That was wonderful. I also want to bring up something. If we're talking about the Earth stuff, my last point talking of this would be Oliver. And when, I don't read the comics, but Oliver, from comic book readers, I've always heard, oh, I hate this guy. He's so annoying. He's such an annoying little brat in the comics, yada, yada, yada. Here, I don't know about you guys. I love him here. I love, like, when he, they're telling him, no, you're not coming to space. You're not coming to war. He's like, no. Like, he stands on business. He says, I have seen what my father did to my mother and all. I lost the whole planet. I lost a biological family that was once there. I'm not gonna let that happen again. And I think and the way he phrases that, I don't know it word for word.
He said I couldn't save my last mother, so I'm gonna save this mother. And I thought that was really good. Yeah,
I agree. And I'm like, dude, I love this guy. I love this kid right now. Mm-hmm. He's so real for that. And I don't know why I guess he's different in the comics, but
yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat as you guys where I'm not a comic reader, but I do think that if I had to guess where the dislike of Oliver comes from, it's a little bit of a all bark no bite situation, because we haven't really seen Oliver be able to do much against like the real threats yet.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother me personally because like yeah, he's like 2 years old. So like
Yeah.
I kind of get that he's not gonna be able to solo Conquest, but I do kind of understand the viewpoint of like, he pops out and he's like, I'm gonna win this war with you guys, let's do it, and then the whole episode is him going, oh, he's getting the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the same reason that I had problems with Mark in like
Right,
the earlier
yeah.
seasons, So I think it's almost like it's kind of a good parallel. Like we're having Mark kind of come up in the shadow of his brother who went through the same thing. And I think ultimately what I hope that leads to is this idea that Oliver has kind of been subjected to like, I guess the worst of Mark, right? Like this is kind of like the most violent that he's been in Oliver's like formative years. Now he's with Omni-Man. He's going through like all this traumatic shit way earlier, like in his superhero career. He hasn't had as much time on Earth. Like, I think there is a chance that maybe we're building to an Oliver that's a little more Omni-Man and a little less Invincible. And I feel like maybe that's the direction it goes, which, again, could be a comic thing where it's like maybe this is like the betrayer character, He's going to turn on everybody. I have no idea. I have nothing to base that on other than just like assumptions. But yeah, I agree. I mean, I think he's good here. I like that they're planting seeds of him and Tech Jacket having a little bit of a friendship growing. I like what's going on with him and Omni-Man. I'm excited for next episode because the two of them are just kind of stranded on this planet together with Mark seemingly incapacitated, unless he's just like dead, which would be so funny if just killed him like halfway through the show. So I mean, I'm excited to kind of see where this relationship goes or relationships with Oliver. Mark, I wanted to ask you,
Sure.
what do you think about? I know you were talking a lot about. In passing, as we were talking about that Debbie and Nolan scene.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about the way that kind of had payoff for you? Did it feel like the 5-year waits from season 1 was kind of reached here?
Yeah, I really like how the scene starts, and it's only showing Omni-Man apologizing, but they never show Debbie's face. It's just different angles of keeping her full, face out of frame, and I thought that was such a powerful kind of way to show the emotion between these two characters. And when she does finally turn and face him, like everything she says to him is just like spot on, exactly what I wanted her to say. There's this recurring theme in this episode of people being like, you're doing this for you, not for anyone else. He's apologizing so he feels better about himself, or he's trying to make things right with Oliver by not showing his face to him because he doesn't want to expose him to his world. But it is all coming off in a very selfish way. But J.K. Simmons is so good in this role that you still like somehow deep down you're like, I do feel bad for Omni-Man, but I think it's just it was a great scene, and I love that it ends with her literally punching him to the point where she like breaks her hand and scratches herself. And I think that's a teaser to Nolan potentially having like healing abilities. I don't know if that's like a stupid theory, but I feel like when she punches him and she like walks away with the hand, he's like, wait, no, let me. And she's like, no, I don't need anything from you. Get the fuck out of my house. And now like Mark is so messed up. Like there's no way he would be able to just like survive this without some sort of
I don't know, dude.
like intervention. I don't know.
Conquest was just ahead.
Yeah.
And he came
true.
back.
I mean, that's true. I don't know. And maybe that's just like a crazy theory. I thought it was very interesting that they focused on Debbie's blood on his uniform, and then he's like reaching out to her when she's hurt. I don't know, but they do the thing where they show someone dying and then they come back to life like that. The show has done that a lot.
I thought like the Debbie blood was more just symbolism of like that he's literally hurt her like to such a degree that, that this isn't going to be easy. But I really like the dialogue in that scene because I have a lot of like sympathy for Nolan's character, because I understand like we've been shown that he's changing, right? That he is on a path of redemption. And, it sucks when you have a character that is genuinely trying to make an effort to be better and just cannot get any kind of acceptance for it. But I mean, I just think like you said, everything Debbie's saying is perfectly valid. There's one line in here that I adore, and it's when he says, I can't remember her name, but Oliver's mother, he says like, oh, she was a mistake. And she's like, yeah, exactly. Like, you're an asshole. Like, like it's not... You just like used this woman, like you used me. You're proving my point, and you can see like how that's not what he meant, but like just that is what's coming out of your mouth, dude. Like you're not like this. It's just not going to be easy. So you can feel like kind of the anguish of like, damn, like, is there some kind of way back for this guy? Like maybe, but it's so difficult. And it's like justified because I think if Debbie like easily forgave him
Oh,
and was like
God.
right, like, oh, you
Oh,
are
no.
sorry, it would be such a bad taste in the audience mouth. So I think it's just done really really well. And I just think Debbie's like a great character, and giving her a
She's
moment to
great.
shine. I don't think she's had like too many insane moments in the past couple seasons. I think season 2 was really like the Debbie season, where we got a lot of good stuff with her, and then recently she's kind of morphed back into the role of just like the mother figure and kind of been like playing off of Mark, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I think she has like some real character here, and like we really get to kind of sit with her and remember that she's a badass, that she's literally just like rage baiting Omni-Man in the kitchen, like, oh, you're sorry, it's
Yeah.
it's great.
And there is something to be said that there is a lot of discussion with Omni-Man in this episode of him. Potentially there's some jealousy forming within him because he's like, I still love Debbie and now she's with this other guy, and he asks Art like,
The goat Paul.
how's Paul, like is this guy good for her? And he's like, yeah, she's great. Like, and then we have that scene later on where he gets a cup of food and he remembers that moment where he's out to dinner with Debbie, and he like loses his appetite because he misses her.
Yeah.
I don't know, that kind of makes me feel like there's a possibility that Omni-Man can still snap. Like, we know what he is capable of, and Debbie could still be that reason, and Paul is kind of in the crosshairs there.
Yeah, I think it's
unfortunately.
interesting. I kind of feel like the shift in Nolan's character has gone from like, he's someone who's constantly trying to learn how to like handle new emotions, at least in the time that we've known him as a character. And I think the shift really has been that his immediate reaction was always like, as a standard, was anger, just to like lash out. And now I feel like it's more like sadness, like when something goes wrong, rather than like, so like perfect example, fucking Oliver fighting Conquest. Like, I feel like in this episode when Conquest is beaten on him, his first instinct is like, oh, I have to save Oliver, not like I have to kill this guy.
Yeah.
I think it's a very gradual shift, and maybe I'm like overanalyzing it, but I think that that's like a pretty cool feat. That we're really getting to see like in real time, in the action, this character starting to shift.
Yeah, totally agree.
I actually want to add on to both of your guys' points. First, Mark, of how you said that at any moment he can snap. And that brings me back to my point that I was saying, how, like, I was first perceiving that moment with Art as him trusting him. It's like, because if I was in that situation, like, that's like, that's a god amongst humans. And it's scary to know that dude can literally chop your head off, like, chop a million people's head off in a blink of an eye. And then to add to your point, Sean, in Berserk, which is one of my favorite mangas of all time, there's an amazing one of my favorite quotes from the series is from Godo the Blacksmith. And I'm going to be paraphrasing here because I don't remember it word for word, but he basically says that anger, rage is the place that a man who cannot deal with sadness goes. And that, to your point, is Nolan.
Right.
He revolted to anger because I feel that there was always that sadness,
Yeah.
knowing that he was doing all this crazy shit for the Viltrum Empire, and now it's just changed form, to be more
human,
to be more more human. Oh my god,
he's learning to be a man, which is
Yeah.
really cool. Yeah, man, I don't know, I mean, I feel like this feels like a very eventful episode, but I think realistically, like, there's only so much to talk about with it. I feel like it's just a whole bunch of like less scenes but big scenes, you know what I mean, like just back to back, like awesome payoff, awesome payoff, and then we're done with the episode. So I really really enjoyed this. Is there anything else that you guys really want to talk about with this one?
I'm curious, like Tech Jacket, like they obviously recruited her because her species, or like the tech she got was from this planet that was in Nolan stories as someone that could defeat the Viltrumites. But I'm curious kind of where she fits into all this, because right now she feels like very underpowered compared to everyone else. So I'm curious where they're going with her character, if like the suit hasn't reached its full potential, or if they're going to her planet to meet with the people that made the suit, and then she's gonna get like super powered up. That was the one thing that coming out of this episode I was kind of like confused about, because I saw everyone else fighting the Viltrumites. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, and then I saw her, I'm like, is she just like shooting blue bolts at them? Like, what is she gonna do?
Yeah, like it didn't seem to be doing much. I mean, I think the only real evidence we have of her like actual ability is from last season when she's introduced in space, and she like solos a Mark variant.
That's right.
Up in space. So I feel like that's really all we have. It's just like that knowledge and the fact that the suit just seems really powerful. But I agree. Like from a plot standpoint, I am curious like how everyone is going to fit into this, because we got the shot from the trailer. We have the intro of Space Racer, I think is his name, from episode 2. So I think we're really like assembling our Avengers. And I guess my thought is like, what are going to be the roles of these people? Like, Mark makes sense, obviously. Oliver makes sense. Omni-Man, Alan. Like, that group I really understand. Tech Jacket, Battle Beast, Space Racer. Like, those are kind of like the outliers for me, where it's like, are they just going to kind of be, like, with the gang? You know, just like a bunch of cool guys, like, beating some ass? Or, like, are they going to have, like, a legitimate function in the story? Because the last thing that I want from this plot line is bloat. Because I think that Invincible as a whole has a lot of bloat, and it really drags the show down, and a lot of the weaker episodes are entirely because we're dedicating time to people that just like don't need the time.
Yeah.
So far these people seem interesting, but I think I don't know, I'm kind of worried that we're gonna get snagged into another Damien Darkblood episode with like someone that I just like don't think needs to be in the story right now, you know? But I don't know, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I do agree with you. I think for me it is a little bit more interesting because it has to do with the main plot,
Right.
instead of like, because what I know, I wasn't on the discussion for the previous episodes, but what I had my issues with specifically with episode 1 and 3 was that we were just revisiting the same plots again over and over.
But it was to show how Mark was different.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's how I interpreted it. It's like, yes, it's the same villains, but look how he's now dealing with them as opposed to before.
and I totally get that, and I understood that 100%. It's just that when we're revisiting, you know, these are hour-long episodes.
Yeah.
It's just more interesting if it was in a different setting, at least, you know.
Yeah.
And there, you know, there's a lot of time. I like Titan, but I do like him as a character, but there's a, like, to have another episode that's told entirely through his perspective, like, you know, I'm sorry, I actually lost your question.
Well, I mean, you kind of, I think you furthered the discussion in a good direction. I think that, you know, there still is the concern here that the, like, I guess, power imbalance of the main plot and the subplots is making the subplots a little bit weaker, right? Like, I feel like when we're cutting from like intergalactic universe-ending threat to then like, you know, I'm Dr. Cockroach and I'm gonna, you know, spray cockroaches at you. It's kind of like, God, like, what do we? It's a different show. Like, I feel like the escalation thing is kind of like my favorite part of this season. Is I feel like it is legitimately like going on the up. This fight is like the craziest thing thus far, I feel like. Like, maybe the OG Conquest fight, the Omni-Man fight at the end of season 1 are like bigger in scale, but in terms of like the visceral like violence of it, like, I think it just again is setting a new precedent to where it's like Mark fighting Toilet Man is gonna feel even more useless because of this scene. It's like he got disemboweled. He was playing like he was tying the monkey's paw knot with his intestines, so and it's like I feel like we can't go from that to Mark being like, you know, oh, Doc Seismic, we have to stop. Like, it's just not gonna feel the same anymore.
Yeah.
So I have this like, again, like this lingering concern, which kind of carries over from season 3, which is again why I'm happy that we're just actually getting to the point very quickly in this season. That shit's escalating. We're fighting the big bads. We're going to introduce the biggest bad pretty soon, I think, with Thrag. So, I don't know. It's a slight concern. But I guess on the topic of Thrag, Mark, where do you think this is going, dude?
Yeah, I mean, I guess... And it's kind of... I kind of looked ahead at the thumbnails for, like, the last episode. So, like, I'm like, okay. So, my guess is, like, the last episode, he introduces himself. But I do think it's interesting that this episode ends with a post-credit scene with the Optimus Prime voice guy. He essentially says that he's kind of moving on with that plan with the at least that's how I took it, the Scourge virus. What is it?
Well, I think he was more so just saying like we're officially going to war, like the coalition's gonna mount and
yeah, because it was
attack.
weird how he worded. He said like we were at war, and I was like, okay, so you were at war, so that means you're doing something like to end the war. I don't know.
Could be the virus.
It was kind of confusing, but they introduced the virus, so I'm like, they gotta
Right.
come back to it.
Yeah.
And I feel like Nolan has already said like, don't fucking use that virus. And if he does use that virus, that's another kind of ratcheting up of the tension with the Nolan thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's where we're going. Like Nolan and Mark and Oliver on this planet recovering, and then when they come back, the war's already kind of started, and he released the virus, and it's like, why did you do that? And then they're angry, and then Thrag comes in and just fucks everyone up. I don't know.
Right.
I think there's a lot
He's
of
like,
interesting
I got the vaccine. I'm immortal. They're not gonna get me with that virus.
Thrag being immune would make sense, right? He's the top of the heap.
True, could
And-
be. Yeah, I mean, I like that notion because I think that kind of sounds to me of like, oh yeah, we're gonna use the virus on the Viltrumites. That sounds like an opportunity for Mark to be like, hey man, like I know we're at war with these guys, but like that's a little fucked up. Or Omni-Man especially, to be
Yeah.
like, okay, I get it, but like these are my people. Like surely there's some other way to do this without like genociding the whole race. But I guess that brings up the relevant question of like, what is the end goal? Like, get rid of all the Viltrumites? Like,
It's the same thing.
You can't, like you can't really imprison them,
No.
So it's like maybe this is kind of like a genocide run that they're just going to. I think they're going to Viltrum, right? That's kind of the plan. Like they want to go to Alan's homeworld, rally with all the troops, and then go to Viltrum. Do I have that right, or do we not know yet?
I don't know if we know
Yeah.
because there's only 50 Viltrumites, right? There's like that
Yeah,
ship,
I
and
think
then
that's what they said.
and then that's the homeworld. So like, there's not that many. So yeah, I assume
They're
that's
probably
where we're
going to meet him there,
yeah,
and then Thrag's gonna fly up, and
yeah. I want to see how hard he goes.
Yeah, true. I mean, people build him up. Like, I'm not a comic reader, but it's hard to avoid the Instagram
yeah.
memes of like this guy's gonna come in and
I mean, he's got to kill like
decimate
2 or
everybody.
3 main characters.
you
right?
would think,
maybe 2,
right?
Maybe 2.
Well, I don't know. It's Invincible. He's probably gonna like split Omni-Man in half,
And then
and then
he'll survive.
he'll be like, "Mark, I'm fine actually," and like fly around with just a torso.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen. I think I really only have one nitpick with this episode, and I want to say it before we forget, and that's Cecil. I think
Oh yeah.
I think it's weird Cecil's role in this episode of just having like one little scene, because like this is a guy that's kind of been like Viltrumite obsessed for the entire show, and like him not having like a conversation with Mark or Oliver or Debbie or Eve feels really strange to me. Like it kind of feels like since the Conquest capture, he's been like really off. I feel like, and I feel like it's not in a way of like, oh, the character's changing. It feels like the writing for him is kind of like taking a back seat.
Yeah. So I want to add to that because I feel like his character has been lobotomized.
Yeah, kind of, right?
Yeah, I actually really don't like his character now because I used to obviously like he was a flawed character and he was kind of annoying in some aspects, but like it was within the character. But now it just feels like they don't need him in the plot necessarily anymore because we've moved past planet Earth at this point, and now, but like he's still there, and he's still in the conversation, so he's just allowing for big plot things to happen. Like the whole Conquest shit was so stupid.
Yeah.
Like that was like logically, I remember that was the big critique with the end of season 3, and then the big critique of episode 1 of like that's the stupidest thing that one of the smartest guys like within the government can do.
All
And
it would
then-
take to fix it is like he has technology that works on Mark.
Yeah,
It's like, just put that like thing in his head.
yeah,
Like something, and then Conquest can rip it out and be like, oh, it's actually not enough for the strongest or whatever. That's all you need to do. But I feel like it was a simple fix, and I agree with you. But
Yeah.
it comes off as very like lazy writing. Of he's just like, yeah, surely this will go well, like some concrete.
yeah.
It's like, dude, what?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and also, okay, so to add to that point and to add to this episode, and honestly, the last 4 episodes, I'm gonna be so real with you. The whole conversation of Mark killing people has been exhausted at this point. Like Cecil, why the fuck do you care?
Right.
Like he had to kill. I'm on Mark's side 100%. Like you literally, that whole alien mob swarm would have just taken over all of Chicago if he didn't murk that dude.
Yeah, and like Cecil's not a good dude either.
Yeah.
So him being like, Mark, you killed an innocent man. It's like, dude, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Didn't he say, I totally agree with you doing that?
Yeah, he's like that should have been my choice. Like you have to be a good person still. I think it might be they're trying to present it as like a fear thing of like, I want you to like maintain being a good like rational human, because if you're not, there's more of a chance that this could go really wrong and you can get out of my control.
Yeah.
But I agree, I think it's reading a little weak of just like they've kind of like they really front loaded Cecil in the show. Like I think he got a lot to do for 3 seasons straight. And I think they've kind of like run through all the arcs that they have with like the superhero mentor kind of like relationship.
Yeah.
You know, like the Nick Fury type where it's like, oh yeah, they get along, and then there's like seeds planted that maybe he's not a good guy, but he's working towards the greater good, but then the hero turns on him and then they heal their relationship and now they're back together. And it's like, where do you go from here? You know, like now I feel like it's kind of like Cecil die time, because like I don't see like what his character is really doing anymore, unless he's gonna like go full blown bad, and that doesn't line up with his character either. So I feel like I mean the weakest part of the season for me has been Cecil, because he's a character that I really like, and I love Walton Goggins, and I think like it's a good performance and he's interesting. They're just like not giving him anything interesting to do.
Yeah, I agree.
I still like Cecil, but I get what you guys are saying. I do agree that his character, like the story, has outgrown his character to a degree. But I do think that like that scene with Mark where he's like, you know, let me make the tough calls so it's not on your conscience. Like he's already made all the mistakes. He's already like accepted that he's a bad guy. I appreciated that conversation. I do agree he's made a lot of dumb decisions, but I think that's just him slipping, because he used to make a lot of good decisions and he's kind of lost control of situations and it's kind of eaten away at him. And I do think the fact that he still does have all these like robot marks now in his basement at the Pentagon is a pretty big, you know, bomb. You know, the Hitchcock quote, you know, there's a bomb under the table, it has to go off. I think, you know, something has to happen on Earth where those are going to have to be released. You know, Adam Eve is still there. Her powers are all messed up.
I'm going to say that, I mean, Mark's going to come back at Conquest. He just got disemboweled by Conquest, a man who he assumed was dead. Yeah. You know, Cecil lied to his face.
Yeah, that's true.
And now he got disemboweled for it. Like, if I'm coming back to Earth and I'm Mark, I'm like, all right, dude, like you're going to live in a cabin in the woods or I'm killing you. Like, I never want to see you again. It's over, dude. So like, maybe that's it. Like, maybe it's wraps for Cecil. Because if Mark comes back and he's like, I forgive you, I'm going to be like, come on, dude. You know, like I just...
See, it's that or like Thrag sends like a Viltrumite to Earth while they're all out and there's no Viltrumites to defend Earth, and it's just Cecil and those guys and the Guardians.
Dude, you'd be a good Viltrumite. That's a good plan.
I would go. Yeah. I would send him to Earth.
Mark's got people he
if
wants
I was
to
Thrag,
Viltrumite.
I would send him to Earth.
Yeah, no, I mean that's also a possibility. Earth is undefended. You know, maybe Adam Eve's got to step up and take on
who knows?
Take on a Viltrumite with malfunctioning powers.
Who knows what she can do?
That could be cool too. I had no idea.
Yeah, no, I agree with you guys. I now that we're talking about it, I kind of want to see Mark kill Cecil.
Okay,
I think that'd be cool, dude.
Yeah, I think that would be a great arc for Mark, because we know he's becoming more Viltrumite coded, right?
Right.
Like we know that he's becoming more violent. That this is just the natural progression of all the trauma and everything that he's gone through.
Right.
If I was Mark, dude, Cecil's dead. I'm sorry, bro.
That's a great, like, definitive line to cross.
Yeah.
You know, of like, like, there's no coming back from this.
Yeah.
Like, if you kill, like, essentially, like, the president, you know, like, you're not going to ever be, like, in the total good graces of the people or the superheroes anymore. Yeah. Like, that would be a great way to kind of, like, reinvigorate that arc with, the Justice League, you know what I'm talking about. Guardians of the Globe. Because again, like they're pretty stale also. I feel like in recent episodes there hasn't been much there. I think Robot is an incredibly interesting character. I'm always kind of like suspicious of him. He gives like a weird vibe all the time.
Yeah, he is a little off.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's off. I mean, he stole a guy's DNA, and then like at his funeral
himself.
was like, I'm actually him, by the way. You know, like he's a nut. But I think like he's just got like the he's got a little bit of an Ultron thing going on, you know, where
Mm.
he's like, I probably know what's best for like everybody, and I should be the leader of the team, and like all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So like he's super fascinating. Gone from the show.
Mhm.
I mean, at least for a while. I don't know how long he's going to be stuck in that portal, or I'm sure we'll eventually get some kind of episode about like what happened to him in the portal.
Him and Beast Girl or something.
Monster Girl.
Monster
yeah.
Girl.
But yeah, I mean, like now who's left? Like Black Samson. Oh, you know, like,
Yeah.
like I don't care
Yeah.
about the remaining cast really.
Yeah, like who's what's his name? The leader of the Guardians of the Globe.
Oh,
now.
Brit's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's no, not John Bernthal. What's
Jonathan
his name?
Banks.
Yeah, there you go, Jonathan Banks, my goat. So
Yeah.
I like him. He seems cool, but it does kind of seem like a way to kind of like segue them into like, yep, they've got a good leader. We're gonna throw him aside. You don't have to worry about him. Like, there's no inner politics going on.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't really know like where this is gonna go. I have to tell you, I'm very optimistic about the rest of this season. I think we're gonna get some more really cool shit. I'm feeling less optimistic about after this season
Mm.
because Mark going back to Earth after what I think is gonna be like a couple like huge battles and traumatizing shit. I think like that disconnect's just gonna be wider than ever.
So you think there's more after the Viltrum Empire ends?
I don't think this is the end of the show.
Mm.
I know there's a lot more comics,
Yeah.
so presumably like something goes wrong.
Yeah,
here,
they don't.
you know?
They don't succeed this season.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe like they go there and they like they've already killed Conquest. I mean, hopefully.
We think.
Fucking who knows?
we
dude.
think.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
actually regenerated already. But like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they go there and they get rid of like that one lady Viltrumite. What was her name? Anissa, right?
Yeah.
The one that
Yeah.
threatened him.
Yeah, and like the guy with the robot eye,
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Krabs. You know, like they get rid of like a couple of the big guys, and then like Thrag sticks around, and now
Yeah.
he's got like a little outpost of like the last remaining dozen, but they're trying to like formulate some plan in the background, and then we settle back on Earth, and then he's gonna come back at some point. Nobody knows where he is, but he's the most powerful man in the universe,
Mm.
and he's gonna come and fuck up Earth at some point, and you got to be
Sure.
ready for it. You know,
Sure.
like that could be
Yeah.
cool. That's kind of how I see this going. I feel like we're not going to introduce Thrag just for him to like die in one episode.
No,
and then the
yeah,
rest
I
of the
agree.
show is what, like Mark fighting Toilet Man. I'm not in. You know, I
I'm
feel like
out.
he's the It seems like he's the big bad of the show, so I don't see
For
him
sure.
going. But yeah, I'm optimistic about the rest of the season at the very least, and then I guess we'll just kind of have to cross our fingers for the rest of it.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that was a spirited conversation.
Yeah, that was good. We're probably running long.
I have two last things to say.
Oh, man.
Well, no, it's just a quick question.
Yeah.
One, I forget what happened to the Immortal and Duplicate.
They're like living out
Who
in the
fucking cares?
mountains, aren't they? Yeah, true. Who cares? No, they're living out in the mountains. I think having immortal clone kids.
Okay.
Probably.
Yeah, because
Ugh.
like I don't
Where's
enjoy,
Omni-Man?
I don't enjoy their characters too much, but
No,
I just, like-
Immortal? Dude, he
you know,
sucks.
as we talk about like basically all these side characters that are not very interesting anymore, you know,
Mhm.
the Guardians of the Globe and all these, like, that came to mind of like, where did they go? Also, the last thing I'll say is just to add on to, you know, the big disemboweling scene.
Oof.
That scene genuinely had me tearing up because I'm very connected with Mark as a character. I really, really, really love him. And the show has made me tear up in the past. Even the Conquest fight, the Omni-Man fight in season 1. And this fight here, that's the thing. It's like, I almost feel manipulated though. And I feel like this might be, this is a flaw that I have with the show, is that I am so connected with these characters, but I know, and I'm literally tearing up for them because I can't, it hurts me to see him like get fucked like that, right?
True.
But I'm also feeling legitimately manipulated in a negative way because this show, like, I know he's gonna be fine.
Right.
I know
Yeah,
he's just
yeah.
gonna heal up. They're gonna put him in a little healing tube, and
Yeah.
he's gonna be all right in the next episode.
Well, it's because
you know.
he's invincible. Cut to the title.
Da-da-da.
Cut to the title card right now.
Dude,
Mark,
Yeah.
are you all right?
I
Are you
mean,
alive?
Yeah, true.
Are you?
Yeah.
That'll be next week's
Yeah.
title scene.
Are you actually? Yeah, that's probably how it's.
But
gonna
maybe
go.
next week is Oliver and like Omni-Man. We get like them as the main characters for like an
Yeah.
episode or two, while
I'm-
Mark is like
That'd be great, dude. I mean, fuck
Yeah.
it. Like, we could have some good bonding time. We've never really seen Oliver. Have we seen at all Oliver and Omni-Man interact? Like, I don't think so.
No.
No, other than this
Other than this
yeah,
episode,
yeah.
right? So I think like that could be cool. But Vinny, I understand your point, like because I've had problems with it in season 3, season 2, and I'm sure if Conquest is alive, I might like stop watching the show, dude. Because yeah, this show is very afraid to like make real drastic changes. I feel like, which is why this season's been exciting for me. It's like Mark is actually killing people. The cast is actually back together. We're actually going through with the main plot to get rid of the Viltrumites. Like shit's actually happening. But generally speaking, that is not the trend of the show.
No.
You know, so like you kind of know that like obviously Mark's never gonna die, but like I don't think Eve's ever gonna die. I don't see Omni-Man dying until like maybe like the end. Same with Oliver. I think maybe he'd die at the end. Alan could probably go, you know, like but like maybe. That's what I'm saying. Like I think the show really gets really attached to the characters almost to its detriment.
Yeah.
Of like I don't know, dude. Like I feel like we get to a point now where it's like Duplicate was like a fake death. You know, like Rex got shot in the head and then was fine. I mean, they did really kill him later, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they just set they set this precedent that it's like you don't really have to worry ever, which deflates a lot of tension out of a lot of these bigger scenes, which is why I think that this scene does such a great job of still grounding you and making it feel intense just because of how fucking visceral it is. Like maybe that's the intention of, you know, it's like, you know, Mark's not going to die, but like he's going to get it, dude.
We're gonna
you know,
we're gonna push you to the limit of thinking he's actually gonna
right.
die.
Like we're going to make you understand that it is important that like this is a level of suffering that's like incomprehensible.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, obviously I can't express how disturbed the like final moments of this episode are. And you know, we've already kind of covered it, but yeah, I mean, I thought this was a very, very good episode
Very
overall. Thumbs up on
Big
on
thumbs
the
up.
season overall. I'm pretty thumbs up. Do we want to briefly, because we were off last week, talk about episode 4? We could do a
How much
one
time?
paragraph review.
Oh, we're at like 40 minutes right now.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
I
yeah,
didn't
rip it.
I didn't like episode 4. That's
Yeah.
kind of my review. I thought it was
Nice.
filler. I didn't think it was interesting. Interestingly though, I think it is the only episode of this show that has a side plot where I feel like Mark is properly power scaled. It
Oh,
might
you
be
thought
the
so?
it might be the only one, dude.
Oh, okay.
Because most of the time, it's like, you know, Mark's fighting Conquest, and then Toilet Man is flushing him down a sewer, dude. You know, so like this episode, like the devil is coming out of the lava, and she's like, you know, I'm undefeatable, and he literally just like punches her lights out. I think that's great.
Yeah.
You know, and as great as I think that is, the plot overall is meaningless, and like they do a bunch of budget, like obviously budget saving shit. Which I get because like this episode looks great, it's an awesome fight, and there's more fights to come. But like it's a little too in my face, you know, of like the whole thing with the Cerberus and like
Yeah.
they're falling down a hole in a static shot for like 4 minutes.
Oh my
It's
god.
kind of an eye roller, you know, and like I'm not a big fan of the like, oh, like Satan's actually a good guy, you know. It's like we kind of done this trope already, and like I just don't jive with it. you
Yeah,
know?
it was a tongue-in-cheek type of episode. Like Mark literally has to go to hell to realize he's still a good person, because by the end he puts the suit back on. It's like,
Yeah, it didn't feel earned.
okay, it's like fine.
Yeah.
And then the world building they do in hell is like, well, actually we're the ones that have kept the earth safe for all these generations. And they're like, but it's only us 5 versus this volcanic lady. Like, they're talking about it like it's this big war, and then it's just like
Right.
6v6
Yeah.
in the middle of like a lava pool. And it's like, this is it. And then yeah, like you said, Mark kind of just like destroys this ethereal being that's been here since the beginning of time in like one punch. I'm like, okay, I don't know, it's
Yeah.
a weird episode.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I actually am a bit of an outlier because it is the worst rated episode. However, I actually did enjoy it a little bit more than I would say episode 1 and 3 actually.
Crazy.
Wow.
Just because
Wow.
well, I'll give it this because they played Raining Blood by Slayer.
That was cool.
And-
Yeah,
and-
any kind of devil like mixed with electric guitars, I'm immediately like nice.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
gross.
exactly. So
Yeah.
they played Slayer, and they also, it was a change of pace, a change of location.
Mm.
And that's the big flaw that I was telling you guys about. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so sick of these same exact story beats being repeated every single season.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm a little glad that it's in hell. But I do agree with all your guys' points. You know, the fighting choreography in that episode is like the same rinse, watch, repeat type shit. Like literally the same exact animation for every single fight, and throughout the show. Like there was nothing special to the fights. There's charm to Damien's character. It's he's whatever, and I like what you said, Sean, of him like one-shotting the lava woman. But then again, like it just felt like a waste of time.
Yeah.
Another thing that I wanted to point out about that episode is that he's rejuvenated again. He gets the suit. The tone is like, oh my god, this is hopeful. Cut, boom, next scene. He's on the roof.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm like, what in the hell just happened? Like, what is with this tonal whiplash going on?
Yeah. Post-nut clarity, probably.
yeah, like what is going on? Like, so I don't even know if the writers knew. It just felt like it was like a bunch of random shit that filler, had to fill up the time, and they were like just mashing it together.
I don't know. I feel like it had positives. Like I agree. I like the Slayer song coming in. I like the change of setting, and like that. I like Damien Darkblood. I think he's cool. Yeah. But I like him a lot more as like a cool devil detective than I do like a warrior for hell. Yeah. Like I feel like that kind of
beer gut.
with a fat beer gut and a helmet gag that goes on for 5 minutes. Like I just think, and also like the episode doesn't really make sense because like they summon Mark to hell and they're like, you have to get Satan's crown for him to retrieve his full form. And then we go through this stupid like 30-minute segment where he gets the crown. He gives it back to the devil. He puts the crown on. They play Slayer. He like turns into a cool like aura farming demon. And then he doesn't do anything. He just like stands on the back. Yeah, he goes, get them, and he points his jagged finger. And like that's it. Like he doesn't actually like become more powerful. So it's like we wasted time in the Time Wasters episode. Like nothing that was meaningless. Yeah, the whole crown thing.
Yeah. Also, this is the last thing I'll say. I apologize, guys. But I really hate how this show keeps setting up these meaningless plots. Like, for example, the Mummy.
True, dude. The Mummy. I completely forgot about the Mummy.
That's Toilet Man.
That is Toilet Man. I think Toilet Man is my most apt metaphor, dude, because it's true. There's so many Toilet Men in this fucking show.
So the Mummy subplot just getting set up, and it's like, I don't give a fuck. And then also
the Mummy's gonna kill Thrag. Yeah. At this rate, dude. Like that's gotta be what this is leading to.
I honestly would appreciate that more than whatever the fuck they're probably just gonna have like another filler episode later down the line. It's like, oh, we set that up years ago and it's finally paying off, but no one.
You'll never be able to defeat my scarabs. And he sends like 1,000 beetles at Mark, and then Mark, even though he's like split Thrag in half by this point, is like, like he's getting farmed by beetles. Yeah, it's gonna be so fucking annoying.
Yep, and then also the Damien Darkblood new plot that's set up of Satan communicating with him telepathically is on top of the roof, and Satan's like. They're doing a thing. The humans are doing a thing that are bad. You have to figure out what they're doing that's bad.
Do they establish like what he's looking into?
No.
They're just Damien, you're back in the show, Damien. Go out there and create a plot, Damien. Yeah, like, it's fucking. I don't know, dude. It's a really bothersome episode.
I feel like, dude, they literally never elaborate. He goes. The humans are doing something bad. You have to figure it out.
It's really stupid. Yeah, and then he's like, they position him as if Damien Darkblood is like the coolest character in fiction. It's like, oh shit, dude, he's on a quest now. He's got a quest marker, and you don't know where it is. Yeah, I don't know. Episode 4 is not good, audience. Yeah, I don't enjoy it. I think it has earned its place as the worst rated episode of the show. It's not like egregiously bad. Yeah. Like nothing about it was like,
If it was a season 1 episode, it'd be fine. But
true.
In this season, like that placement is awful.
Right. It's like we have a great pace, and then it's just like, you just fucking drop that in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean we're past it. I'm not gonna think about it. Damien Darkblood and the Mummy are gonna have like a side plot in season 9 or something, and then we'll have to circle back around to the setup of this episode. Yeah. But yeah, generally I don't really care. So. I don't know. That's probably about enough talking about Invincible for this week. But I really enjoyed this. So any last thoughts, fellas?
Nope.
Great. Okay. The last couple times I did that, we were like, yeah, actually, we have way more thoughts. All right, with that, hope you enjoyed our review of Invincible season 5 and a little bit of episode 4. We're going to be covering the next 3. Why'd you make that face at me, dude?
Season 4, episode
Oh,
5.
sorry, episode 4 and 5. If you enjoyed the review, we're going to be covering episode 6, episode 7, and episode 8 over the next 3 weeks. Hopefully you'll see all of these returning faces as well as Mikey coming on. So yeah, stick around. And if you don't like Invincible, why are you watching this? But we have way more reviews coming out for all kinds of movies, shows, etc. So make sure to stick around. And with that, I've been Sean Villa.
I've been Mark Iacomino.
And I've been Vinny Albano.
And we'll see you next time.
This is the culture.